Hi, hello, good afternoon. How are you? It is great that you're joining me. Thank you for that. Just going to pop over to my page. Sorry to do this and share the video so that people on my timeline can see it as well. But I hope that it sounds all right and it sounds okay. Just pop a comment in there to say, yeah, listening, Luke, that's amazing. As you know, I'm going to talk about my new book, Berlin. Here it is. It's out on Friday. General release is happening this Friday, which I'm really, really excited about. This is streaming on my Facebook page. This is also streaming on Twitter. So welcome, whatever platform you're joining me on. It would be lovely, as I say, if you can just drop me a message to say, yep, I'm here. That's brilliant. Okay, let me share this and then we will get on with what we are doing. Welcome. Just a quick one about who I am. You might not have met me before, in which case you'll be thinking, why am I watching this? My name is Luke Richardson. I am an author of thrillers. I've written 3 books. Kathmandu is number 1, Hong Kong is number 2, and Berlin is number 3. And at the risk of repeating myself yesterday, the stuff I said in the video yesterday, they're about a missing persons detective, a missing persons detective, and the cases that he goes on. So it's sort of those stories, as you see them in the news every so often, that someone went missing on a desert island or somewhere like that, and you don't hear about it again until a few weeks later, and then you see that, or a few months later, and then you see the result. He is the person who goes to these places. Hi, Allison, and finds out what went on. And I've absolutely loved writing him because he has this sort of he's a very anxious person. He's almost a bit of an anti-hero. He's not quite grown into his own skin yet, and I've really enjoyed writing that. So Berlin, that's the next one, is out on Friday. You can pre-order it now. That link is going to stay at the top of the screen there for the duration of these videos. So if you get over there, lukerichardsonauthor.com/Berlin, you can pre-order the book, and then it will be delivered to your Kindle on the day. That's the quickest way for you to get it now. However, on Friday, I'm also going to open up my own website and sell it directly. So if you want to wait, you can buy it directly from me on Friday as well. And that's good for me because I get a little bit more, a bit of a higher rate, a bit more of the money that way. And I get that money quicker as well. So as an author, that's much better. I want to talk to you today about why I've chosen the setting Berlin. Why I've chosen that particular setting, because as you'll know, all of the titles of my books are after the place they're set. So that's important to me. Setting's absolutely important as to why I choose to set a book in a certain place. Kathmandu, I said it there because it's sort of this crazy, vibrant, exciting mountain city. It's dirty and it's filthy and it's exciting as well. And I absolutely loved visiting Hong Kong. Again, sort of this burgeoning metropolis, glass towers, the sort of seedy backside of that as well. And Berlin, for a bit of a different reason. I love the idea with Berlin is that idea of duality. And I suppose I've talked about that in my other books to an extent, of sort of the duality of rich and poor. But in Berlin, it's much more obvious because it was originally a divided city. Up until the early 90s, there was East Berlin and West Berlin. And the history involved in that is so fascinating. The idea that one was under the Soviet Union and was really sort of quite oppressed during that period. And the other one was sort of this free-thinking Western state that had money pumped in from the English and the French and the Americans to keep it going. So the idea of those two sides of the city is absolutely brilliant. There's a novel I love called The City in the City by a guy called China Melville. And he writes, it's a detective story set in a fictional dual city, but the twist on this one is that the people are in the same place, but they're just sort of indoctrinated not to look at each other. So they're two sides of the same city, but in the same place. It's a fascinating fascinating read if you need something to read after Berlin, obviously. Thank you, Ian. Ian's just commented on the video. Thank you for that. I hope you're well. Oh, Alison's got a question. I don't know if I've asked this before. In fact, I can show this, can't I? There we go. I know I've asked this before, but not sure if you answered it. Have your pupils ever read your books? And if so, what did they think of them? If you've got any questions you'd like me to ask, of course, drop them in the comments, or like me to answer, of course, drop them in the comments, and I will do them. And I'll get to the thing I was going to talk about later, or even tomorrow. Yes, they have. I'm a secondary school teacher, or I am at the moment. I'm due to leave the secondary school at the end of this year. So yes, they have read my books. I don't really promote my books to students because they're not. It's not that they're not appropriate for young people. It's just that they're not really for young people. So I talk about my writing a lot in terms of the writing process, in terms of teaching creative writing, in terms of trying to inspire young people to say, actually, creative writing isn't just about exams and stuff. You can have you can follow a passion into a job for this. So I do write it in that respect. And the students, a couple of students bought a copy and have brought it in to show me, which is amazing to see. Really pleased with that. So yeah, a couple have read it. John, thank you. Good afternoon as well. I'm glad you've loved the books. Thanks for the opportunity to read them on the A team. Yeah, John's one of my A team, which is the advanced readers team. So he gets to read the books before, and he read it a couple of weeks ago. So thank you for that, John. That's amazing. And I will, John, be asking you to put a review on Friday when it goes live. You'll be one of the first people to do that. Okay. Where in the world would you like to visit that you haven't already? Oh, well, I was supposed to actually go and see Steve Moore in South Korea about 3 weeks ago. If this whole stuff hadn't kicked off, I was supposed to be there, and he promised me we were going to go to some great pubs and walk up some mountains and do a lot of writing. So I'd love to go there, and I will at some point when everything's calmed down. Hi, Steve. How are you doing, mate? You all right? Okay. As I say, welcome along to the video. It's great if you're joining me on Twitter or you're joining me on Facebook. Please make sure you follow me on either of those platforms as well. That would be amazing. Yes, Steve, I will have to come to Mexico instead, definitely, when you're back there. 5 stars, John. Yes, I hope so. John says, yeah, that'll be 5 stars. So yeah, you make sure you please follow me. And if you I also am always saying to people, try and get on my mailing list. That's absolutely, I'd love for you to join me there, because that's where I sort of share my closest news with people. They hear about it first most often on that mailing list, which I absolutely love. Okay, so I was talking to you about why I'd chosen Berlin. I've talked about the Jewel City, and I wanted just to read an excerpt to you from the book. I'm not reading parts in order. I'm not just going to read the first 2 chapters. I'm picking a few paragraphs out which crucially don't spoil the plot. So you're not going to sort of get anything ruined in that respect, and sort of add to what I'm talking about. So nowadays, Berlin is like a really vibrant, exciting city. I think it's great to visit. It's great for the nightclubs, as I've talked about before. It's fantastic just to sort of go out and enjoy and sit around in and watch the world go by. I absolutely love it for that. So I'm going to read you a section of chapter 47, which is on page 141. See, I'm a teacher. You see, I'm expecting you to have books in your hands, which you obviously haven't. Notice I always use foreign currency as bookmarks. So I love, this is a yam from China. So when I was there a couple of years ago, I always love to use them as bookmarks. I just think it's a really, really cool thing, because I like books and I like traveling and going to cool places. So it combines them both. So Leo felt the daylight sting as he prized his eyes open. Without sitting up, he looked around. The bright walls of his hotel room were especially offensive this morning. What time is it? Leo rolled over and reached for his phone. Shit, it was just after midday. He'd been asleep the whole morning. The previous night had been pretty intense. He completed the shift as the techno rumbled and the black-clad dancers stomped and swayed. Although he still had no idea what people got up to in the dark room, his imagination now had various theories. The investigation had progressed too. Leo knew that Minty had left the club just after the man in the green coat. Whatever the link between the two men, it built on Leo's instinct that Minty was alive. For the first day, that was good progress. Even Allissa couldn't have done better, Leo thought, grinning. But all it had brought so far was more questions. Most crucially, if Minty isn't dead, then where is he and why? 15 minutes later, his eyes just beginning to focus, Leo ordered a large flat white with a double shot from the cafe across the road. As he waited for the coffee to be made, steam billowed industriously from the gleaming machine on the counter. Leo checked the notes that he had made from Minty's website. Minty sold clothes, very expensive and apparently fashionable clothes. The unique selling point was the fabric they were made from. It was all explained on the website in flamboyant terms, but in essence, it was some kind of recycled cotton and synthetic mix that Minty had imported from South America. The website glamorously described the process and boasted that Minty was one of the only designers in Europe to use this sustainable product. Visiting the shop was Leo's first job today. Even if it was closed, as Leo expected it to be with its proprietor missing, it may still hold the answers he needed. The shop itself, as Leo understood it, was more like a design studio. It seemed that having premises in Kreuzberg was a statement of authenticity for the fashion designers of Berlin. Hopefully, the place would help Leo better understand the man he needed to find. On the train towards Cottbusser Tor, Leo looked around the rooftops and brightly coloured buildings of the district. Imperial townhouses of white and red jostled for space next to 1960s concrete apartment blocks. Creepers climbed the walls and flags hung from windows and balconies. Stepping out into the afternoon sunshine, Leo had an unusual feeling. He actually quite liked Berlin. It felt quiet and calm, vibrant and fresh, almost like his familiar Brighton. Descending from the station, Leo passed a man in a grey suit talking to one in traditional Jewish robes. A young lady with tattoos, a purple strapped top and ripped jeans passed him. And, gossiping on the corner below, two women wearing gleaming sequined headscarves. It seemed to Leo, as someone who was becoming increasingly well-travelled, that Berlin was a city of the world. With that, Leo started to understand why a young fashion designer might want to make it the base of his operations. So there we go, just a couple of pages from Berlin. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's been really good to share this with you. I'm going to do a video at 2 o'clock every afternoon UK time. I'm going to keep it the same. After this, first thing I'm going to do is upload it to YouTube. That'll be on there as well. And then I'll be back and we'll talk about something tomorrow. There's the link, lukerichardsonauthor.com/Berlin. There it is. Get over there if you can. I'd love it if you would be able to pre-order a copy of this book today. There will be paperbacks. Just need to say there will be paperback versions like this one, but they will come out. You can't pre-order a paperback. They will come out after Friday. So you'll have to just hold on a couple of minutes, a couple of days if you want to do that. Thank you so much for tuning in. As I say, it's amazing to share this with you. I will see you again at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.